56 picks in the NFL draft every year. Do you know the percentage that is of the total players that are eligible for the draft?
Blue, guess what? I have a stat for you. I'm glad you said that. You about to steal my thunder. 257 draft picks. 44% of them came from the SEC and the Big 12. Think about that. So basically half of the draft picks came from 2 conferences. Okay? And everybody else came from the rest. So again, these are the things, and what you're seeing, and again, not to get too far, I sent Rocky, Blue, I sent Rocky and them, we have a chat, and then we start talking about things. And this is kind of delves into it. One of the things, I don't know, Blue, if you heard this, because you're on the ground, that they're talking about how they're going to give potentially conference automatic bids. And one of the things they said might be off of ratings.
Yep, TV ratings.
Off of TV, Rocky, listen what it is. Off of TV ratings.
It's entertainment at the end of the day, my friend.
So think about that. Not the quality of play, but who brings the most eyeballs. Who do you think that's going to be?
SEC Big Ten and Notre Dame.
And this is not me making this up. This has been put out there that ESPN, Heather Dinich, put this out there. One of their main college reporters.
I think they were very upset at the SMU Indiana game. I can't remember what.
Yeah,
what
it was both of those.
Was there, but Indiana played Notre Dame.
Yep.
Yeah, whoever SMU.
Yeah, you're talking about them being into the playoffs, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Over like in Alabama and Ole Miss, a Miami, like stuff like that. Like they were really pissed about that.
Well, and the thing that it turns out that neither of those teams had a real chance to win when they played the game. And so you may as well get the best matchup if that's going to be the case.
But the computer, well, hold on, Rocky. Okay, because the computer and the people said that was the best matchup. That's why Ole Miss didn't make it. It was a best matchup based on the criteria that they had. It wasn't the best television matchup. Right,
I think Alabama Penn State would have been a pretty good television match. I think Miami and who did Indiana play? Notre Dame would have been a good television matchup.
And that is so crazy, Blue. And so now I'm gonna bring it down to our level, right? You follow FCS. What does that mean for when we try to go get TV contracts, right? And how important is it for us to play in this space where we can sell what we're doing, on a level? Because now if they're saying, hey, we're going straight ratings, we want big names. And again, they've already dissolved the Pac-12. The ACC is they saved Florida State from Clemson for leaving. I don't know how they did that. But what do we do? Because we know now that's such an important thing. Now we're talking about revenue share. That money's got to come from somewhere. It's not going to come from fundraising. No matter what AD says, she's going to do a great job. That money has to come from auxiliary. It's got to come from TV packages and things. So what do you think we got to do for that?
First thing is tune in when your team plays. I mean, like, because I know it had competition, but for Jackson fam to do 20,000, guys, 20K. That's all we got for Jackson FAMU. Was arguably the most anticipated HBCU game of the year. 20K.
And a great game to watch.
Yeah, it was a competitive game. And I understand it was on the U and there were SEC games on all this, but you can't tell me there were like 20, there was only 20K people waiting to watch that game on Saturday. Rocky, you just can't. Like, there had to be more than that. There were more people at the game than that. And so things like that really hurt the FCS, right? And I do think it's good, though, that you see some of these postseason games start trending upwards, right? We had, I think, 5 playoff games hit over 1 million. Celebration Bowl had a big year. Heck, the FCS championship this year got over 3 million at one point. So things like that trending in the right direction are big. But I also think the FCS and HBCUs in general, we got to understand that we have our own lane. Like, we aren't going to compete with the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC. Heck, you're not even competing with the Mountain West. Just get it out of your mind, or the Sun Belt. You also, I think you have to be more strategic where you put your good games. You have to pick certain nights. You have to pick certain networks. But the biggest thing, Mr. Campbell, is you have to watch the games, because at the end of the day, I don't care how big the brand is, right? Because we all know that FAMU's brand is bigger than a lot of G5 programs. But guess what? It doesn't matter, because if more people tune in to watch that G5 program play on Tuesday night, they watch FAM versus Jackson on Saturday, regardless of the competition of the channel. You know what ESPN is going to say when the SWAC gets to the table? Yeah, we're paying you.
Yeah.
We're paying you what you're worth. Only 20,000 people tuned in. We don't care what the YouTube views say. We don't care how many alum you have. We don't care about the Grambling brand or the FAMU brand. This is your brand. Like, I don't care what the attendance is. I don't care the pageantry, the tradition. You had this many people watch the game. That's what we're going to pay you. And it's got to change.
Blue, this is, as I've thought about this, and I've thought about what the success of FCS and HBCU football look like moving forward. And this is just something I've just recently come up with. Somehow, FCS and HBCUs have to form almost a holy alliance to make FCS football relevant to the masses. If there is some kind of consistent competition among FCS elite schools and HBCUs to where the competition, I know it would take a while for the competition to get on par. But if that, to me, that's the true future of FCS football, because you could take a brand like FAMU in a very competitive game against North Dakota State and create an amazing story behind that. You understand what I'm saying? That's where I think the sport should go. And I'm not talking about the racial implications. I'm just talking about the football histories of both schools.
Football.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I want to piggyback on it for you. What do you think, with that being said, like they do in basketball, conference challenges? Do you think that would do something?
Been calling for forever. I've been and there's conferences that do it. The Big Sky Missouri Valley has a Big Sky Missouri Valley challenge every year where they all play each other week 2, 3, week 1, 2, and 3, right? There's a bunch of different MVFC versus Big Sky games. But the problem is this too, is I don't think some of these FCS schools have the same flexibility as you see with like the P4 when they schedule these things, right? Because you'll see like the SEC and Big 12 or Pac-12 do one, right? Well, Mr. Campbell, it's going to be really hard for FAMU to talk about the money, right? Traveling to Sac State one year.
Right.
And it would be difficult, even with the resources that Montana State has, to travel to Tallahassee, right? That's a big expense for any program in the FCS. And so I think that's kind of the holdup there. But, and Mr. Campbell, you know this, I'm one of the few people that kind of stand in the gap, because I do think there's a wide divide, right? You have the HBCU fans that don't want to associate with the FCS, and you have the FCS fans that don't pay attention to HBCU football because they don't play in the playoffs. And I don't think that's because they hate HBCU football, because I'll be honest, being in the space now, they don't watch the Ivy Leagues for the same reason. If you don't play in the playoffs, they don't care about you. It's not that they don't like black college football. It's, why are we watching Jackson FAMU when my favorite team doesn't have to worry about them in the postseason? Why watch it? Who cares, right? I'd rather watch a team we might see and learn about Tennessee Tech, Tennessee State, or someone like that. But I think that's the biggest problem with FCS, is that there's not this, there's no conversations across the subdivision, right? The Missouri Valley worries about the Missouri Valley. The Big Sky worries about the Big Sky. The Southland worries about the Southland. The SWAC worries about the SWAC. The MEAC worries about the MEAC. And there's no collaboration between the conferences on how to bring the subdivision up as a whole. And also, too, there's got to be some sort of way to include like the SWAC and MEAC in some of these general FCS conversations. And I'll say this, it's in Rocky, you're new to the space as well. I'm only 28, man. So like, I wasn't alive in like the early 90s, late 80s. I know the history, right? Because I went back and I've watched some of the old games. I've learned it, but I wasn't there. And I understand some of the, I would say some of the hesitation of HBCU fans wanting to get back into the FCS space, because it was way different in the 80s, right? And they were doing HBCUs really wrong in the postseason. It was really expensive and all this kind of stuff. There's been a lot of changes now, but it's going to be hard to convince some of the older heads that those changes have occurred because the bridges have been burned there. So I do think there needs to be some like reconciliation there. But I'm with you, Rocky. I think for the FCS to move forward as a whole, they have to. All these conferences have to work together. I see a lane, and you guys tell me what you guys think. That there's a area in America, and I'll start at Chicago and move down to St. Louis and go down to Kansas City, where those seem like prime areas where you can host a Jackson State and a North Dakota State in any of those cities. Even a Tennessee State and a Southwest Missouri, whoever.
in some of those big areas and create a atmosphere about HBCU versus FCS Challenge or something like that. And there's enough fans in those areas that have a little familiarity with both that you could come out and create something that's could be matchable. Of course, it's going to be a culture war, but it's good for the sport. And that's what I'm saying. Ultimately,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. The game I want to see, and Mr. Campbell knows, I've said this on the show. We have the SWAC MEAC Challenge, right? We have the FCS kickoff game. I think week 0 in the FCS, the Celebration Bowl champ should play the FCS national champ from the year before.
Big time. I think that I listen. I've said that, and again, you know what's funny, Blue? I'm going to talk about the old head thing, right? And I'm going to use Tennessee State. I'm going to pick on 2 schools, Tennessee State and A&T, because you're going to understand that. A&T's have big wins. They played and beat FCS, and then they play a lot of schools. They're playing in the CAA and things like that. Them people don't go to those games. They hate it. What is Tennessee State when they played North Dakota State? That's a big game. That's a big game, and they are more mad that they ain't playing Jack State over there in Memphis. They are madder about that. So the thing about it is what I think with that right there, it gives something, because I think to me where it has to be some level of bragging rights, right? It's got to mean something. Because if I go play directional state, we don't have anything, we're not in the same geographical footprint. I don't know. But that right there for bragging rights, where people have pride, and you see this all the time that happens in the NCAA tournament.
There has to be a platform, Mr. Campbell, where both organizations or groups have respect for one another. And that's where I think it's kind of, I'm talking about respect for the football. I ain't talking about the people. I'm talking about the football. And I think on some level, Jackson State, FAMU, Grambling, those schools have to be able to be respected on the field by a North Dakota State, South Dakota, North Dakota, Southwest Missouri Auto. They have to be respected on the field, and then their fans will start paying attention. See, you don't have to worry about it at that point. To me, what I think the problem has always been in HBCUs, and this is just my 5-year window of looking at it. You don't want those games because you can't compete in those games. You don't like those games because you get humiliated in those games.
Well, no,
you don't,
okay. Let me. I don't mean. Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's see. To me, this. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Those games concern me. Blue, and this is my nephew. And this is why Blue I love, because Blue is a listener. This is what my argument. I don't mind playing North Dakota State if you give me my North Dakota State money, because I know there's things that come in with that. And see, the problem is what people do is they want us to play one hand tied behind our back. You see what I'm saying? So I come and FAMU, and as bomb squad as we got, but then we can't get the money to have the facility because North, don't get it. Those guys are training.
But here's what I'll say, Mr. Campbell. If North Dakota State had Mississippi's footprint, they'd be playing Division 1A.
Yeah, if North Dakota State was in Jackson with their, they'd be.
Oh, well, exactly. But see, this is what I'm saying, because you got to understand something, and Blue can understand.
So both teams have something. The natural footprint of Mississippi.
No, but I'm talking. But again, what I'm talking about, what separates a lot of these schools, and I'm gonna say this again. I've seen this. Is the facility. You guys, we have schools in the SWAC that still don't have training tables.
That's why I don't like using the North Dakota State. And Mr. Campbell, you've noticed this on my show. I don't use them as the example, but I like the thing that frustrates me with it is because I love football, and also too, everyone, like I cover the FCS, but I'm a little bit biased toward the SWAC, and people know this, right?
Yeah.
Like I would prefer, like, to me, there's no reason that FAMU should not be able to beat Incarnate Word, like, because it's a private school. But Rocky, I've been to Incarnate Word, Mr. Campbell. My bedroom is bigger than the press box at Incarnate Word. They hold like 5 people at that stadium. Like, they don't have any.
The whole school is on. When I went probably 7-8 years ago, it's all on one block.
That's what frustrates me, is that like Incarnate Word will go to PV, who has more money, more resources, and smack them.
Well, okay. So let me do two things real quick. So set this. Because see, this is where
and Blue, let me say this, Mr. Campbell. Every player that Incarnate Word has on their especially the black player on their roster, probably would have went to PV had PV taken football serious.
So here's the thing. It's two things. I'm going to outline two things. FAMU has won games in the playoffs. And I'm not talking about 1978. I'm talking about in the 2000s. Yep. They should have been Jim Trustle's team. Our quarterback doesn't go down. We win the national championship that year.
Yep.
Texas State is getting ready to play Southern Mississippi. One of the most seminal games. And I'm telling you, anybody that was around there, they would Brett Favre should have beat them. Should have beat them. So that pride, what you're talking about, I've seen this firsthand. The thing that, again, that is the thing that we got to talk about, how many great coaching staffs do we have to coach the players to beat these?
It's a whole nother conversation.
That's where the problem comes in at. So you look at it. So look. So let's just talk about this, right? In the SWAC, right? Willie Simmons proved that he can coach, right? That's why he's down the road down in Florida. I'm telling you something. Jack State with TC Taylor, I'm starting to see things coaching-wise that this guy is starting to get it. You see what I'm saying? They're going to give Southern Mississippi hell down there. You see? But the problem is the rest of our coaches. Now, Tremaine Jack, I feel something. But Trey Allen, he can coach that level. So that's why he's won. So the thing about it is, I'm going to be honest with you. Our coaches got to accept the challenge of coaching our players better. Yeah. To your point. And this is what people are like, I don't want to say that. Well, I'm going to say it because we have the history. Eddie Robinson wasn't scared to play nobody because he was the better coach.
Gaither, all of them, but like, come on, man.
Billy Joe.
I don't, that's the thing that frustrates me. And listen, okay, so Sela had a generational quarterback when Fam played him, but you can't tell me Southeastern Louisiana was that much better than FAMU in the playoffs that year.
I'll tell you this, I'll say this, and that was my man. The guy that just kept the train on track. But I didn't Celebration Bowl championship team. Oh, we would have beat the hell out of them boys.
I agree.
That squad, because we had a quarterback that could make plays.
Yeah. That's the thing that frustrates me is that I've seen teams just in the past few years, right, go up against teams that they're more talented than on paper. And guys, like, do y'all really think Nichols was 59 points better than Southern last year, who won the SWAC West?
But see, no, absolutely not. They should.
And they played at Baton Rouge.
And Blue, they should be. Southern's one of those legacy schools that should always be good.
Yeah.
Should always be good. Jack State should always be good. FAMU should always be good. Prairie View, Alabama State. And I'm talking about schools that have the resources that should be good. And when I saw that when they played Nichols, that just blew my mind.
They should have won that game.
Should have won that
game. Nichols had a losing record last year and beat the SWAC West champs 59-7 on the road.
So that's the challenge that I think a lot of our coaches in these programs, and again, that's why I think Tremaine Jackson, but again, a high tide raises all boats. I think Tremaine Jackson's going to show some coaching. I think TC Taylor's going to show, because again, listen, even with FAMU, one of the things that, and Coach understands this, to beat Jackson State, hey, that coaching level is got to come up because the talent is the talent. Because there's nobody in the SWAC that just got like with Dion that had them crazy bomb squads where you just had crazy. The talent is kind of like with everybody, but it comes down to coaching. It comes down, can you make the right call, the right play call? Can your quarterback execute? So the same thing when Southern lost to Nichols, I was just like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense.
It gets frustrated because, Mr. Campbell, this because when I first got in the space, I approached it wrong, but like that, and labeled as a hater by some people who are like, he's just disrespecting HBCU football. It's like, no, I have so much respect for HBCU football that the standard should be way more than getting beat by 50 by Nichols, who sucks. Nichols should never have a better football team than Southern, ever. Like, there should never be a year, and there should never be a year where, just extend it, that PV should have a worse football team than Houston Christian. Come on, bro. Houston Christian plays in a CVS parking lot, and they're better than PV.
But believe it or not, in Texas, over 20 years ago, they were struggling at the FCS level. All the Texas schools were struggling.
Yeah.
And then there was a coach that coached at Navarro maybe more than 20 years ago. He won a national championship in Navarro, and then he went to, I want to say, Sam Houston. And that's when all the other FCS schools in Texas kind of took off after he won the national championship in Navarro, and then he went to Sam Houston. And from Sam Houston becoming relevant in FCS football, then all the other schools. You have a D2 school that used to be a D2 Tarleton. It wasn't a D2 school more than Blue. You probably know more than I do, but probably 5 or 6 years ago it was a D2 school.
Yeah.
You know, and now it's one of the better programs in FCS.
Top 10 program right now.
Absolutely. So if Tarleton did it, I'm sure Jackson State can do it. I'm sure FAMU can do it.
But Tarleton got the fun. But Rock, you got to admit though, because I had my friend.
They're part of the same A&M program.
Yeah, but go look. I tell you what, go pull up what they get overall compared to what Prairie View. When we're talking, pull it up. In
funding, budget, or athletic budget.
Yeah, pull it up. I'm just curious.
No, major bullies. I'm not joking. There's a CVS on one side of their stadium. Like their stadium backs up to a CVS. You can park in the CVS to go to the games. I'm not joking. Look it up. That's Houston Christian Stadium. They literally play in a CVS or Walgreens parking lot.
Because I'm going to tell you this, Blue, and this is what I think, and this is why I kind of want to circle back. When you're talking about FCS programs, so we just made a post. There was a post about players getting drafted in the NFL, right? And producing money. Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, Texas. This is all part of our SWAC footprint, okay? Mississippi per capita, you know what I'm saying? A bunch of football players. I think, matter of fact, I looked, and they were 6th out of the states in the SEC, 6 of producing football players in the last decade. So there are football players all around. What do you think we need to do to get those guys? Again, not the Power 5 guys and the Power 4, but like it's so many football players. Is it evaluation? Is it that we're not coaching them? Because there are a lot of football. Like you said, they're going to Incarnate Word. We should be able to get. This is my argument always been, and I'll shut up on this and let you answer. FAMU, Jackson State, Grambling, Southern, Alabama State, Prairie View, we should never lose to a school that's got a direction in their name. Seriously.
Yeah.
If it's some directional state, you know the school. Come on, man. How do we lose to that school?
Okay, so I'll address the obvious one first. Resources are important. And we talk about the lack of resources at some of the HBCU institutions all the time, like especially in terms of nutrition. Nutrition is a thing I hear from coaches all the time. Yeah, I don't think it's there for some programs. And also strength and conditioning is not there too. How do you develop offensive line when you don't have kids on campus year round like some of the other programs do? And then also too, I think part of it is talent evaluation. And the dirty little secret too, Mr. Campbell, is some of our coaches are scared to go after talent where they see bigger offers on the board. They'll see a player and if he posts an offer from certain schools, they won't even recruit that kid because they don't have confidence they can land him. Not even knowing if those offers are committable or not. That's by far the biggest problem is that they're scared to go heads up, and I think that's a massive problem, man. In the grand scheme of things. But guys, man, I got to jump. I got a show here in like 5 minutes. I got to record.
Hey man, we about to wrap, bro. Man, we appreciate you, man. For real.
Hey, appreciate y'all, man.
Tell everybody where you at and what show you going to, what you're doing, and also you're saying that you're gonna have your draft thing with Gerald. Tell everybody real quick.
Yeah, man, you can go check out the website, FCS Football Central on SL. We got our top 10 FCS prospects, top 10 HBCU prospects, and we're dropping our final predictions for where those guys will go. We'll have a 6th, 7th round, 5th, 4th round, things like that, man. So you'll kind of understand where all the HBCU FCS guys might go this weekend, man. And then the Blue Bloods on YouTube, all podcast streaming platforms. And we'll have going to record right now an NFL draft preview, man. We're going to break down all the FCS guys. So y'all got all the information y'all need going into the weekend, man. But you guys know this. Anytime, man, y'all need me to hop on the show, hit me up. I'm always tuned in, man. I love what y'all are doing and anything for y'all, man.
Hey, that's my
thank
nephew.
you very much, Blue.
Zach McKinnell, y'all.
Hey, man, that was dope to have Blue on, man. He's a tremendous guest, a wealth of knowledge, and
he was our DEI guest.
Hey, that's over with, man. Trump's in office. Ain't no more DEI, man.
We do
only merit opportunities here, man. Ain't no DEI here.
We can't handle diversity, a little diversity over here.
No, man. But Blue's dope, man. Blue's an HBCU guy. He part of the family, so we're just happy to have him on the show. Now, for the first
what numbers
time.
are you? I see now. What are these numbers? Just because I'm seeing revenue. What are we doing?
So I didn't look up budgets, but I looked at the total revenue for each school in those years. Those are the years that it went into. Prairie View had $221 million in revenue received.
Athletic revenue?
No. It was just total revenue for the schools.
Okay.
Total revenue for the schools. And then Tarleton had $219 million in total revenue. So they're like schools. Like they're like schools. It's how they disperse the money is the only difference.
To see can you look up and see what Tarleton's athletic budget is versus Prairie View's?
Okay, let me see that. Let me try that.
Shout out Miss Faye in the house. You know what I'm saying? She always around checking everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, let me just say this too. First of all, we appreciate all you all watching. You know what I mean? That's why I thank everybody. Because, like I said, this is some FUBU stuff. This is for us to buy us, and we really want to expose. And listen, hey, man, I love people that don't agree with us. Make me smarter. Tell me some stuff. Hey, man, what's up, Rotan? My man be here every week. He don't agree with nothing I say, but I respect that he got a difference of opinion. See, man, that's what I'm talking about, man. I love the fact that we can have this type of dialogue with a bunch of intelligent people. Nobody coming in here in the chat acting a fool and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of respect over here. So, man, we just trying to build this. So, like I say, again, we want everybody, tell people we over here on Tuesday nights. Hey, man, I'm working on having Coach Ward come on. And like I said, I'm working on getting Michael Victor come on. So, man, we going to have some hot things coming on. We're going to keep working right. Hey, Miss Faye said you need to get some glasses, bro. She said you need to go.
I got them right here, but I look way too smart with these glasses on. Way too smart.
Well, you might need to have them on, bro, because people be questioning some of the stuff that you be saying. So you might need to.
So to your point, Mr. Campbell, Prairie View's approximate athletic budget is $14.8 million, and Tarleton State is $20.7.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? See, this is what I'm trying to tell you. So a school that was smaller than Prairie View, that's going to be D1 pretty soon, is already got $6 million more.
Yeah.
Now I guarantee you, if we call AD Golf and ask him what he could do with $6 more million, you'd be amazed. That's your training table.
Oh yeah, I mean $6 million.
Again, money that they can use for cost of living. Okay.
And I think this is more important. Total revenue for both schools are 114.8, and Tarleton is 20.7. But when you talk about expenses, Prairie View is at break even, and Tarleton has a $2.5 million surplus.
Now listen to what you just said. A surplus on top of that. See, man, this is why I be trying to tell people, I don't mind. Listen, man, and I'm going to say this again. Fam, you won the damn thing before anybody else. So we ain't scared of playing anybody. But you can't tell me, and listen, man, Rock, I ask you a question. If you got a job and I give you that, just real quick, man, that's 20% more money, right? You're not going to live a little bit better with 20% more money? I tell you what, and again, FAMU, I think we're at 12. You don't think if AD Suggs had a $20 million budget athletically, what we would be doing?
Now let me say this. It could be that the difference in that budget, and because we don't know the sources of that revenue, right? We don't know where the revenue is coming from. But as you mentioned many times, you can always increase the revenue of the budget by more ticket sales, more donations, more sponsorships. All those things contribute to the overall revenue brought in by the athletic program.
Let me ask you a question. What's more likely? Because like I said, again, I'm very familiar with Tarleton. Mm-hmm. Who do you think have more businesses? Just Tarleton people or Prairie View people? Just business that can sponsor or put you. And now here's the thing.
Tarleton has a whole city. Stephenville is a whole city.
Exactly. They got tunnels and stuff all over the place.
Yeah. Well, that is the city.
So you got to understand something. And again.
And they're football crazy.
Our schools were initially built to train people to get jobs. Okay? So Prairie View people got a bunch of great jobs. Now we're starting to shift and say, you know what, maybe we need to start creating our own businesses and things like that. So you can go sponsor. Because see, the thing about it is, when you, man, as somebody that does sponsorship, man, listen, when anybody, I'm gonna tell y'all something. When anybody does a sponsorship, they lose money. You never ever make money. I'm telling you, you do a sponsor, you really hooking somebody up. I'm telling you this. And this is from the biggest brand, other than the NFL, where you know you can kind of see, but anything else underneath that, it's a break-even thing.
Well, the brand alignment is what you're actually buying.
Right,
you know,
but that's what I'm saying. But that means that's money that you're spending out that you hope to figure out intrinsically that you get back. So again, if I've got $6 more million, you think of any SWAC school that if I gave them $6 more million, how much better their program would be. So now we're talking about Tarleton, and I start moving over, start looking at schools, and those spreads are like that. And Rocky, you gotta understand something. That $6 million is $6 million every year. So over 10 years, that's $60 million. Now, mind you, either I'm at a deficit, break it even, and you make it, okay, I'll do that. They're making 2.4. So in the next 10 years, they got $20 million just sitting there. Come on, man.
For capital projects. You can build, and they have a hell of a facility being built in Charlton. I want to say it's $100 million complex they got going up over there.
So these are the things that I'm talking about. And I think that anybody, because, you know, it's a schizophrenic thing. If you look at us from an academic side, right? And I know, Rocky, your daughter goes to Prairie View.
Absolutely.
That Prairie View, you know that Prairie View degree is going to mean something.
It ring out.
And listen, and no disrespect to Tarleton, but there's not even close to a Prairie View degree versus Tarleton. Prairie View degree is here, Tarleton, hey, you went to Tarleton. You see what I'm saying? Again,
it largely was a commuter school for many years.
Exactly. You think a FAMU degree is not better than a Georgia State or Kennesaw State or Jacksonville State? A Jackson State degree, Louisiana Tech? Come on, man. Louisiana Tech don't have people like Jack State, the majors, that got people working all over the place. But these are the things that I'm talking about. So academically, yeah, we stick our chest out. We can compete. But then when it comes to these things, like when I see that, okay, let's go play Tarleton, and I know they ain't got to worry about of training table because everybody eating good, everybody feeling good. They got the cost of living, so their players are getting $2,000-$3,000. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, we got Coach Pep on. Coach Pep, what's going on?
All right.
Go ahead, Coach Pep. You're live on HBCU Coaches Corner.
All right. I got 3 questions to ask. Should the school take care of the coaches or the program first? And you had a promoter on there last week. He said Grambling shouldn't be playing Ohio State, but the players at Grambling are trying to get drafted into the same league Ohio State players are getting drafted into. And I could see Grambling going on a 3-year program. When you don't have no donors, you have to make the money the best way you can. In that 3 years, Grambling is going to play Ohio State, and they're going to play somebody next year. And the following year, they'll be able to compete and win some of them games. But you have to take the bitter with the sweet. And his bitter at the beginning, but it's going to be sweet in the end. And another thing I want to say about the SWAC. And the SWAC coaches are getting players out of the Porter, and the junior college players. If they take a high school player, he come there running a 4.6, a wide receiver, come there running a 4.6 of 4.7. 4 years later, in his pro day, he's still running that 4.65 or 4.75. I don't like the coaches that don't develop them kids. If a baseball player, a baseball pitcher has an 80 miles an hour fastball and a changeup, and 4 years later, he leaves there with the same fastball and the same changeup, you haven't taught the kids nothing, but they putting butts in the seat in the SWAC, but it don't translate to minor players that getting drafted. The HBCU Player of the Year, the running back from I forget the name of the school. He ran a 4.84 in the combines, in the Legacy Bowl combines. They could have worked on that guy's 40 and got him drafted, because if the defensive ends running faster than 4.84, the linebackers, he ain't gonna get around nobody. But I got another question to ask you. Who made the worst deal? Alabama A&M find that coach, Alcorn find Fred McNair. Who made who made a better choice?
Okay, so Maynard gone versus Fred McNair, Sam Shade, and Coach Said is down there. Rocky, which part you want? I tell you what, let me take the Grambling payday first, okay? Because I got some interesting numbers on that. So Grambling's getting $1 million, right, to go up there to play Ohio State. Here's the funny thing. You know who Ohio State was supposed to play, Rocky? They were supposed to play Connecticut and pay them $1.9 million. So why they couldn't get Grambling that $1.9 million? So for them, it was good business. Now, what do you think is going to be a better game that people are just going to just to look at? The UConn brand or the Grambling brand? I would dare say the Grambling brand is worth more than the UConn brand on the football side, not basketball. On the football side, okay?
And the band side.
Huh?
Because they ain't coming up there without the band.
Thank you. So Ohio State, they're going to have the band playing together, and they're only giving Grambling $1 million. So, Coach Pep, here's the thing. I'm in between on that. I don't have a problem with our teams playing Power 5. But that high level, those guys, I just don't want my guys to get hurt. And when you're talking about the Georgias and the Ohio States and stuff like that, I'd rather do like Jack State play of Southern Mississippi, where I think we could compete and I think we could show it. But when you're playing a team like Ohio State and the Georgias, hey, man, that's a whole nother level.
That's pimping.
Even Deion talked about that.
That's
he didn't
pimping.
Like that type of game.
That's pimping. By any other name, that's pimping. So here's my deal about it, right? What's the job of the head coach or the football team? Is it to make the school money or is it to win the SWAC?
Unfortunately, that's a trick question, because in some of our coaches, especially in basketball, they got to go raise money and try to win the SWAC. So to me, here's the funny thing about it.
Which one does playing Ohio State do?
Oh, it's nothing but, because like I said, it's not going to help the football team. It's not going to help them. There's nobody going to tell me playing Ohio State is going to make Grambling better. Not Ohio State. It's about the money. It is 100% about the money. So my
whole point behind it is that there are, and you know that game is going to be on TV.
Easy.
you know you're going to get beat 90-0 because those are the best players in college football. That's a pro team. That's a pro team.
Period.
You got Grambling playing against an NFL team. So they're going to get beat 90-0. I don't think it helps the Grambling brand. I don't think it helps the Grambling players. It's a good, I'm sure they'll choreograph a great band presentation, and it'll look great because both of them have historic bands. And so I know that they're going to somehow play together or do something, But I don't think it's good for the kids that play the game, or I don't think it's good for the program at all.
No, I don't either.
Now,
I don't either. Now, go ahead.
Now, Coach Pep wanted to talk about the development of the players, and I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is how I feel, man. I felt this way ever since I came into space. With all the challenges that HBCUs have, I don't think they should take on the responsibility of putting players in the NFL with all that they had, with all the coaching staff. You know what I mean? If your aspiration is to be in the NFL as an HBCU player, and you're talented enough, and you're driven enough, you will be found, you will be selected. But I don't think HBCUs should bear the burden. And I think the Legacy Bowl is a great vehicle to get seen and get developed. But I don't think you say that guys hadn't been developed. If he runs a 4.8 when he got there, he runs a 4.8 now, and he's won a SWAC championship and ran for 1,000 yards 2 years in a row. I'm not going to say the guy hadn't been developed, because a football player is much more than his 40 time. And I think there are many examples of that, in my opinion. So, go ahead.
All right. Okay. So this is what I think this goes back to the coaching. Pete Richardson, W.C. Gordon, Billy
They was
Joe.
working with different material than they
Okay,
work with
so
now.
now, okay, that's what I'm about to, okay, you about to, okay, because I'm about to figure out, because I want to see what you're going to say. So is it because they can't develop them? Because these guys develop guys. Because now, mind you, Rocky, these guys still wasn't the best of the best in people's minds, right? That's what they will say. That's why they still had guys going to Alabama, Auburn, LSU, right? And things like that. So are you saying it's because it's not the coaching, it's just the level of the ability of the guy? You just can't coach them any better than what they're doing.
No. I'm not saying you can't coach them any better.
Well, I'm talking about the development, because if you can't.
So I'm saying that the football, and you know this, is so well scouted from just an attribute standpoint. And I'm talking about height, weight, speed standpoint. Like, those things are known by every player that puts on pads. So if a guy runs a 4.3, and you know this, he's going to get a shot at the D1 level regardless of what size he is. You understand? They're not saying a guy who runs a 4.3 is too small, even at the D1 level, because he has elite speed.
Saying the guy came in running a 4.6 and he leaves running a 4.6.
My point is, the guy who comes in and runs a 4.3, he came in running a 4.3.
No. That's not what Coach Pep said, though. Listen what he said. He was talking about guys that were superior athletes, that you developed them. That was his question. A guy comes in running a 4.64, like they say 4.8, and the guy leaves running a 4.8.
Coach, so let me ask you, did Bob Hayes, did the track coach at FAMU develop Bob Hayes, or was Bob Hayes Bob Hayes?
Now listen, people will tell you that Bob Hayes had a legendary track. See, this is the thing about coach. Okay, I'll flip it for a lot of people. Do you not think that Jerry Rice, even though he had the ability he had, that Archie Cooley had something to do of putting him in an offense that featured him, had a quarterback that he taught it? You don't think that was not development? Now, this is Jerry Rice. Mm-hmm. And I'm using him because that's an easier thing for people to understand.
I think that's a great case study, Jerry Rice.
So I think that you got guys. You look at Doug Williams. Doug Williams was on here. You don't think that Eddie Robinson, Doug Wick talking about he came in, and after 4 years at Grambling, allowed him to be, because of the development that Eddie Robinson, that put pros, quarterbacks into the pros, that wasn't development? That's coaching. I saw guys, hey, I know Jimmy Smith Pro. Jimmy Smith was an all-city guy in Jackson. Had the size, weight, speed. But you're not going to tell me that Houston Markham and coaching them did not develop Jimmy Smith to be an NFL, Bailey should be a Hall of Famer. I'm pretty sure Jimmy would admit that he got coached up. He had the talent. He got coached up. So I think for me, when some of these guys, I guarantee you had Eddie Robinson. Ask him about Houston Markham and that crew that coached him.
Coach Pep, I still got you on, Coach Pep. I want to ask you this. My high school coach say he can teach a guy to do everything but be fast. This is my high school coach. He can teach him, he can make him strong. He can get it. You know what I mean? He can't teach him how to be fast. Can you teach a slow guy to be fast, Coach Pep? I guess he's not on. He's not on.
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh, okay. Can you teach a slow guy? Hey, can you get a 4.8 guy to run 4.5?
You can't get a 4.8 guy to run 4.5, but you can get a 4.8 guy to run 4.6s. I can get a 4.6 guy to run 4.4s. Just like pitching, just like throwing, you have to do hit repetition. If you throw, your arm gonna get stronger. If you run, your time is gonna come down. But you have a certain mechanism to bring your speed down, right? You have ball drops. You have explosion. I teach speed. You have to break it down in the 40. You running 5 yards. Time yourself in 5 yards. Time yourself in 10 yards. Whatever you run 10 yards in, if you run 10 yards in 1.5, that 40 time will be 4.5 or 4.4. And you have to believe you can do it. And the mindset will give you that. And I've had the fastest guy in the world, 3.9 in the 40s from Trinidad Tobago in 2000. 2000, he ran a 3.9. And I had Joe McKnight. In high school, he ran a 4.25. But I don't see, you have 100 players over there on the sideline, and you not getting none of them players drafted. You don't have a player over there run the 50 categories from wide receiver, 4.4, 4.5 guys. They had one boy in the Legacy Bowl ran 4.4s from North Carolina Central or somewhere, and that's where if you line up 5 guys, if they all run the same time, you can take either one of them. If you have one guy over there running a 4.4 amongst the guys that's running 4.6s, you have to take the 4.4 guy. Yeah, you have to take him. They coaches not putting enough emphasis on the player that he think can get drafted, you set that player off to the side when the practice is over and teach him how to run that 40. Teach him he gonna run sprints, right? Deion Sanders, when he recruits a player, he said, "Man, I got to get you ready to play in the NFL." He don't say, "I got to get you ready to play in Colorado." I'm not getting you ready to play at Jackson. I'm getting you ready to play in the NFL. That's the way the coaches got to think. Man, I'm not getting you ready to play for Alcorn. I'm not getting you ready to play for Southern. I'm getting you ready to play in the NFL. Well, right? That's what the players come there for, to play in the NFL.
Hey, well, Coach Pep, thank you, man. We about to wrap up the show, man. I want to always thank you for calling in and giving your input, man. You talk just like a speed coach, and look like you've had a lot of success over the years. and I appreciate it. Hey, I always glad to have you call in, Coach. Thank you. All right, man. Hey,
let me answer his last question because he left one, the coaching hire.
Okay.
Hey, man, listen, I think Sam Shade, listen, Fred McNair should have stayed at Alcorn. I think that they should have kept Fred. Maynard just did not move that program, Alabama A&M, to the next level. You haul a lot of, talk before that. Sam Shade, hey, man, is a button-down cat, man. That's going to be some hard-nosed football. That's going to be that Magic City Classic is going to be a game I'm going to watch. And that's one of those teams, Alabama A&M and Prairie View are going to be those two teams that, hey, man, y'all better buckle your chest down when you play them cats. Because it's going to be a different mentality about playing football. Because it's going to be about physicality. It's about doing it the right way. So, man, I think that Alabama A&M, hey, man, listen, they're going to be right there. So I wanted to make sure I answered that with Coach Pep.
Hey, Mr. Campbell, this is another great show. Unfortunately, Coach wasn't able to make it, man, but I guarantee you he'll be on next time we're on. Next week, we won't be on. I won't be available. So we'll all take a vacation day next Tuesday. But I love these shows where we can sit here and talk free. I love having guests, Mr. Campbell. I love having guests. I love, coming on here interviewing interesting people. And I hope, pretty sure someday soon we'll have somebody else from FAMU on here. But I also love when we get a chance to just discuss topics and talk about things that are going on in the world. If you guys if for some reason you missed the beginning of the show, you got to go back and listen to Detective Campbell break down the investigation that involves Shannon Sharp.
That is ongoing. It's still ongoing. And Crook, let me say though, ain't nobody hating on Fred. When we said Fred should still be coaching down there at Alcorn, not being your quarterback coach at Southern. That's what we said. So I'm cleaning that up. We come in.
He's the quarterback coach now. I thought he was a tight end coach.
Well, whatever. I'm looking at what Crook is around there talking about. Listen, he need to be at Alcorn. That's where he belongs. That's where he need to be at. But now, Rocky, I really appreciate it, man. And like I say, hey, man, you got to get the old folks' perspective. You know what I'm saying? They got enough of the young folks. You know what I'm saying? Still got Similac on their breath. You know what I mean? You got grown folks give a little bit tonight.
Absolutely. And as this offseason kind of winds down and we go into the summer, this time last year, you guys were coming off a championship at FAMU, right?
That we were.
But also a lot of turmoil at the same time.
Right.
What do you think the outlook coming in this year? Is it championship or bust?
Yeah, well,
that's what you put on Cozy last year. Championship or bust on Cozy last year.
Well, no, I didn't know. I didn't put we put that on Willie. We kind of gave. No, I think that honestly, you know what? No noise is good news. You know what I'm saying? You're hearing a lot of great things. Coach
Not
Burns,
a lot of transfer portal activity over there.
Yeah, a lot of guys. We ain't got a bunch of guys, that bounced around and stuff like that. I think, again, Coach deserves to get his team. And I think he's got his team. And I mean, from the coaching staff to the players. And I think it's all about buy-in. So, man, listen, Hey man, we know what it is.
So let me last question I'm gonna ask you as a resident Rattler. What do you think about the narrative that's moving around the HBCU space that FAMU had to depend on Florida State to come save their program?
Listen, man, or better yet, I'll give you one better. Why does it always take HBCUs have to hire these folks that went to FSU? Dion, Cozy, Ward. It takes us to give y'all highlights. How about that? So see, in the end, it's always HBCU that makes you shine.
That's one way of looking at it now. Cause that's
the only way we gonna look at it.
Cause FSU ain't offer Charlie nothing.
There you go. There you go.
Florida State didn't even offer Cozy a position coach job.
Well, and not to say that he did not have the opportunity, but the thing about it, one thing about HBCUs, we give everybody opportunities. We make them both with the less. So that's the great thing about it. So he's both of those guys, and with Dion, and I'm gonna keep putting Dion in there because that Florida State folks wasn't giving him nothing. Talladega gave him a degree so he can get a job at Jack State. Jack State gave him the platform for him to get that $40-50 million.
Hey, what'd you say? Hey, it's coming out the woodwork.
Oh, yeah, listen. See, thank you, EA. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, man, it's always us, man.
Did Terrence Graves go to Florida State too?
Huh?
Did Terrence Graves go to Florida State?
Oh, no, I don't think so. But we re-rolling. See, them Seminoles don't take care of their folks, man. We take care of our folks.
No, I think he went to Savannah State or Fort Valley State or something like that. I was just messing with my man, Adrian Crook. He said I made up I'm sure what he said, I made up the narrative that the Florida State people come to say FAMU. No, man, those people are so excited to be at FAMU. Charlie Ward, I suggest y'all go check out the interview on the not the interview, but the press conference on the Off Script channel. He had a great talk. He had a great speech, and there's no doubt in my mind that I don't know how y'all consider Charlie, but he believes he's a Rattler.
Hey man, he is a Rattler. He was born a Rattler, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. That's okay. Listen, man. We know because everybody doing their picks. We'll do our picks later on. But when I come back with a big smile on my face and we HBCU national champions and Cozy done won more games than the other previous coach, and my boy T-Buck up there making that thing move up there in Valley, I'm going to have my own come on. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have my own come on and talk about how great it is to be part of this HBCU family.
Hey, guys. Hey, we want to thank y'all again for coming on. And I know this is a great getaway for a lot of y'all, man, because a lot of y'all are like myself, deal with things each and every week, man. And we, just love these escapes, these sports and all this shit kind of stuff. But we know sometimes it ain't always positive. It ain't always sweet out here. So as Coach says it sometimes, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, tie a knot and hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you.
How about that?
My name is James Jr., and I won $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.